Social Strategy Podcast, episode 66.
Welcome to the Social Strategy Podcast, where it's all about making the most of your business with smart tips on what's working now in social media, online business, and good old-fashioned networking. And now your host, who's also known as Ross PR on Twitter, Vernon Ross.
Hey everyone, this is Vernon Ross, and welcome to the Social Strategy Podcast, bringing you the best in online business, social media, and good old-fashioned networking. And guys, I've got a great guest today. Our guest is basically coming to me from halfway around the world, and very impressive. He got his start, and it's an interesting story. You're going to hear a little bit about it. When he got his first computer, and coming from an area that was a little disadvantaged, a computer is a big deal. It's a very valuable piece of equipment. You can do everything with a computer, as you guys know. His first inclination was to take the thing apart to figure out how it worked. And that curiosity is pretty much what led my next guest into his career into digital marketing and becoming a digital strategist. And he, took a job like everyone else, but just there was something else that was pulling at him to leave. And I know you guys know that feeling when you don't want to do what you're doing and you know that there's something else out there. Well, he didn't have a lot of mentors, so he dug into anything and everything he could find on the internet because he knew that there was another way. He ended up basically becoming a social media and digital strategist, started his first blog, and from that eventually became a full-time blogger and now a millionaire. He's being featured in Millionaires and Money, Sex, Sales, and Seduction. It comes out November 19th. Harneet Bhalla, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you, Vernon, and I'm really honored to have a great introduction, and I believe I would live up to that introduction and share some great information with your audience today.
All right, cool, man. So let's step back a little bit. When I was looking into your background and reading some stuff, what part of India are you from?
I'm from New Delhi.
Okay.
So my hometown is in Haryana, but I'm in New Delhi from the past 5 years.
Now, when I was talking about the whole computer thing, I thought that was interesting because it parallels some stuff that I'd done when I was coming up and taking things apart that I shouldn't have been and having to assemble them again because I'd get in a world of trouble if I didn't. Tell us a little bit about that story so that people can kind of get an understanding of who you are.
Yeah, that's an interesting story to start with. Actually, it's all based on curiosity and the why of things. Now, Vernon, I'm a person who really loves the why of everything. So if you tell me a strategy or if you tell me to do something, I'm always going to ask, why should we do it? Now, same happened with when I got my first computer. I think I was like 16 or 15. I don't remember the exact age. I got my first computer. It was assembled in my room at like 7 o'clock in the night. So I saw it getting assembled in my system, and there were like a lot of wires and everything being equipped up around each other, and everything really showed up on my screen. So after using it for a couple of hours, I was like, hey man, how is this everything working up? What kind of wires are these? Why are they showing it all of these games, all of these applications? How can I type it up? So there was again the why of things, and all I knew was there is a box called CPU in front of me, and it has all the things that are basically making it run. So I was like, I have to dig into this CPU and see what it has and why I don't have these things, how I can process so faster and all of these things. Now, this is really funny. So what I did was at like 11 o'clock in the night, I really opened up the complete box, wire by wire, and tried to see where exactly one wire fits into the another wire. Now, the ending was not really so great because I was not able to reassemble it.
Right.
Now, that ended up really bad in the morning because I was scolded up for, why did you open it up? And I was like, I was really curious about it. So this was the start of everything. Now, on a serious note, I love computers from my childhood, I'm really fascinated by this complete computers things and online things. And another part of my passion is psychology. So I always try to think how this person is thinking, how this person is reacting like this, why this person is behaving like this way, or why these words really meant a lot to this person and not to this person.
Hmm.
So I believe marketing is psychology. So the mixture of psychology as well as my computer knowledge got me into digital marketing, and thankfully everything is working out really great for me into this field.
Right now, one of the things that you help people do, and one of the reasons I thought this would be a really interesting interview, and I get some of this from people, but not at the necessarily the depth at in the background that you come from, because you pretty much started from nothing and was able to figure out the digital space, and not just from a consulting standpoint, but from a creating wealth standpoint. So when you help people, you can help someone who's just getting started in the digital marketing, trying to understand what it is, trying to understand how to create their website, how to monetize their website, how to create a funnel, a sales funnel, what a sales funnel is, the whole thing. How do you take someone that, is just starting out after you've created, basically this huge online career? How do you help someone that, I've got a bracelet that I want to sell on Etsy, but I know I want to scale this to more of a jewelry business. How do I build a viable business from an idea?
hmm Now, one of these all things come from a lot of failures. Now, I have personally failed a ton in trying to set up this complete online business. Now, when I was starting out, I was literally having no money. I was having no mentors. I wasn't aware which courses to buy. I wasn't aware which websites to read and all of these things. So all I had was Google as my friend. So I typed into the Google how to make money online, and kind of it was like there were like hundreds of results that were coming up. When one of them was saying to do SEO, one of them was saying to do email marketing, one of them was saying to establish a website. Now all of these words were like new Harry Potter magic words to me. Now
Right.
I didn't know how it's gonna work out. So it was like a lot of late nights, I would say, or I would say sleepless nights actually, to try to figure out what exactly every word means into the internet space. Now, the best part is when now people come to me, I really understand how they are feeling. I really understand what is going on inside their mind. So they actually feel like they are talking to a friend. They don't feel like they are talking to a mentor. They are talking to a person who is like held so high, who is making a ton of money, who is like an internet marketing giant or something. They actually feel like, wait, this person really understands what I am feeling right now. And I make all of these steps so simple for them that they cannot even forget about it. Now, Tony Robbins as says, complexity is the enemy of execution. I totally get that. So what I do is I always figure out all of these things and give them the right actionable steps that they can go home and do it and can produce the results that they actually want. So what I do is whenever they come to me of an idea or a product or a service, I help them understand, please tell me what is your audience. I help them figure out their audience. Then I help them figure out where actually your audience lives. Either it is on Facebook, either it is on LinkedIn, either it is on Google, or they are actually using certain communities, certain forums, or they are on certain podcast. I help them figure out the exact place where their audience lives by. And the last piece of the puzzle is how to get that audience to view your product and actually buy it. So
Hmm.
I break down each of these steps into very simpler, actionable insights that they can actually do it right now. So it's like once you get on a call with me, I'm like, do these three things, then I'm gonna talk next to you. And these things is gonna be very simple things. So it's like go to this website and find out who is your audience. Go to this page and go to use this application and create a landing page. So I give them actionable insights that they can actually do really quickly and achieve the results. So I would say the brain is mine, the hands are there, and our combination of both of these things really works out.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, that Tony Robbins quote is very true. talk about one of the things that, because I know you've done niche site building where you create a site, you make it profitable. I'm assuming you sell it at some point, or you continue to maintain that site. Tell us about one of the sites that you created that was just kind of middle of the road success and why you think it was.
Sure. So one of the websites I built was improveeyesightfast.com. So it was all about the eyesight niche, and it talked about how you basically can improve your eyesight. So it has all the articles that were related to eyesight diseases, eyesight uh, precures, how you can actually protect your eyes, some eye sunglasses, some kind of medicines that you can use, or how to protect your eyes from if you are sitting on computer every single day. Now I worked on this particular site for just a couple of months, and at that moment I sold it for $1,000, and that was making around $100 plus every single month. So that was 10 months revenue that I got in one single time.
Mm-hmm.
So that all basically did was on SEO. So it ranked on SEO. It was ranking on keywords like improve eyesight, on how to improve eyesight, improve eyesight naturally, and all of these things. So it did pretty well. But I'm not no more into niche sites now. I don't believe in SEO actually, frankly. I think SEO is a really long-term strategy, and there is no point of investing so much time into doing something. Whether, on the other hand, when you can run a Facebook or a Google ad just right now and see the results in the next 48 hours. So I'm all about creating instant changes, instant results in the shortest period available. So I don't believe in SEO anymore.
Right.
But at that moment, it was really great.
That's interesting that you say that. So let's talk about that a little bit. I'm an entrepreneur. Let's say I want to advertise something, maybe an affiliate program. I found out about this amazing affiliate program that you're running for a launch that you're doing for maybe this book that you have coming out, and I can sign up for it and become an affiliate and make a couple dollars off each sale. What would you tell me to do?
Okay, that's really interesting. So we are trying to get people to promote our books, right?
Yeah.
Makes sense. Now, there are a couple of different things that we can do. Now, Vernon, everything gets down to marketing angles. What a marketing angle is all about how you position yourself, how you position your product, or you position your service in the eyes of the person so that they get attracted to you, right? So now there are different angles that we can go into. One of the angle or one of the audience I would say is tapping up some other authors and book owners that can actually promote my book. So it is like cross promotion. So one of the ad that I would be running up definitely would be to other authors, because author loves authors, podcasts love podcasts. So we like people who are like ourselves. So every author is really interested to know about the new upcoming books and really wants to see what exactly is going on. Moreover, one author publishes a book and they have a lot of time in between their other books coming up. So they have to feed their audience something. So we can actually make a deal with them that why don't you promote our books in the middle of while your audience is free, and we can catch up on something. One of the marketing angle is this. Now, another marketing angle would be all the people who are into the book industry. So now book industry would be like editors. Another one would be like online bloggers. Another one would be like podcasts. So all of these people are really interested to get some new content for their website. They want some new infographics. They want some new news. They want something new on their website. So I can tap all of these people and tell them up that hey, a new book is coming on all of these issues, or a new book is coming on millionaires. I know you write a lot of articles on wealth, on achievement, on all of these things, and I can create a marketing angle to give to them that why this story would actually resonate with your audience, and then get them on published on all of these things. That will generate a lot of PR for me, and that would replicate on all of these things. Now, another thing that I would implement over here is a referral strategy. So I can give 5% or 10% or 20% off on the first person who buys it, and can give him another 20% off if he refers five of his friends that would really like his book. Now, there's again a referral strategy that would come into the picture. Another part of it would be the early bird launching. So I can do a early bird launch and give them a 50% off on that if they book it right now. Now, again, the next part can be the corporate part of it. So, corporate part can be if you order some bulk books from me, like 50 or 100 or 200 for your organization, we can actually get a great deal. And I can even offer a free 1 hour strategy session with your audience or with your company on how they can grow their wealth or their marketing and all of these things. Now, there are like 7 different or 5 different marketing angles that we are talking right now. But once we sit down on actual analysis of all of these things, we can actually come up with more than 20 different marketing angles and different marketing audience that we can capture to make a book successful. I hope it makes sense.
Wow. Yeah, that not only did that make sense, but guys, you just got a complete book launch strategy in about 3 minutes.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
At the end of at the end of this podcast, I'll definitely share my PayPal email ID, and you can
Right.
you can share my consulting fees over there.
Yeah, because I mean, guys, that's pretty powerful. Because I mean, basically, what you just did is you went through an entire book launch strategy. So I mean, there's new books coming out all the time. I just had a publisher on. The last interview was talking about how to publish your book and how to get your book out, and that's actually what Nancy's thing is how to get your book out. And she publishes books and writes books and everything else like that. But I think it's amazing that you can, instead of trying to build a niche site and trying to go through SEO, which I mean it's viable, but like you said, it's a very long-term solution. If there's something you want to promote, and this doesn't even have to be for the author, because I mean, this can be someone that's promoting the book or the author in order to make money. And then you can take this and translate that into pretty much anything else that you want to do. So whether it's t-shirts, I mean, you're not necessarily going to do the bulk ordering thing with a corporation, but there are ways to approach someone for bulk ordering. So if it's a cause related thing, like something to support firefighters or veterans or something like that, you can contact those groups for bulk ordering along with other people that would be interested in it to promote and sell and do whatever else it is to get the word out so that you can basically get a big hit, and you can do all of that via Facebook marketing. That is a really, really interesting strategy that you just put out there for free, guys. So make sure you send your PayPals to Harneet. That's amazing, man. So something that you said earlier that I thought was interesting is that when you're talking about social media, a lot of social media people will say, oh, well, you have to be everywhere. I like the fact that you said something that I tell people all the time. You need to pick your strongest network and pick the network where you're the most relevant, or you want to be the most relevant, or that fits your communication style best. Claim your spot everywhere, but communicate and build an audience on whichever network you're focused on. So I like the fact that you said, are you on Twitter? Or is Twitter your strongest? Is Facebook your strongest? Is LinkedIn your strongest? And I love the fact that you mentioned LinkedIn, because not a lot of people do mention it at all. Why do you think your strategy is approaching an individual network versus trying to be everywhere?
Yeah. So, Vernon, I personally believe you have to give your 100%. And anything, if you are giving less than 100%, you are not actually capitalizing on all of the things that you can. Now, let me give you a quick example of that. Let's say you are into the fitness niche and you run a gym and you have some information products on how to be fit and all of these things. There are 2 kinds of copywriters that are rotating around. One of them says that I am the fitness copywriter. Then other one says I am a copywriter. If you are into any niche, I can write a copy. Who do you think you can actually go for?
Well, yeah, you got to go for the fitness guy.
Exactly. Now, the same thing happens with all the different platforms. Every person says, see, people are everywhere. People are not everywhere. Now we have to think why people are on a particular platform and what their thinking is. For example, if we open Facebook, let's forget that we are marketers. Let's say my little sister. My little sister opens Facebook to connect with his friends, with her friends. She is not there to buy a real estate flat. She is not there to buy a BMW. She is not there to actually purchase a $5,000 necklace. She is there to actually connect with friends. So anything that has more of a personal use would go good on Facebook rather than on LinkedIn. Now, when a person logs into LinkedIn, he is into a state of mind that he needs some new jobs. He is looking forward to expand his career. He is looking forward to expand his professional network. Now, he is not there to find a girlfriend. He is there to find a job. Now, if you want to market something like computer servers, or you want to market something like corporate bank accounts, then LinkedIn is your audience. I personally feel people are everywhere, but their emotions when they log on to particular things are different. We have to capitalize on that. Number one. Now, this is something I am saying a little off topic. I know that. Another thing, being everywhere and being a specific topic is all about your complete ownership of that thing. For example, if you ask on Facebook that, hey, I'm looking for a copywriter, everyone should be talking about your name. They should not have any other choice because you are regularly commenting on other people's status, you're regularly liking, you're regularly adding value in Facebook groups, you are regularly updating your status and all of these things. So you are building a strong community and moreover, you are present there. Now, if you have 5 hours every single day to market yourself, and you spend first 2 hours on Facebook, another 2 hours on LinkedIn, then 1 hour on Twitter, or half hour on Twitter and half hour on Periscope, or half another hour on Pinterest, everyone is gonna rotate around. So if anything comes between 1 and 3 and you are on Facebook, then only you can cap on that. But if anything comes on Facebook between 3 and 5, you are not there. You are actually busy on your LinkedIn marketing. So I think this is a poor strategy to be everywhere.
It makes a lot of sense, and I don't think that was off topic at all. It makes perfect sense that you really can't build a strong audience anywhere if you're everywhere, because you can't be everywhere. You'll miss people when you're messing around on some other platform, and you won't be able to connect to them. So, and I've done that before. I've been on trying to mess around with Facebook, and I'm not that crazy about it. I'm more lean towards Twitter and LinkedIn. And I miss a message on Twitter, and it's, now it's 2 hours old, and the person was trying to have a conversation. And I've missed out on the conversation because I was on a different platform, worried about that platform.
Exactly. Now, if you have a really good team and if you really have that kind of resources and strength, then I believe you can get everywhere, but not in the initial stages for sure.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. So switching gears a little bit, you do quite a bit of speaking as far as digital strategy is concerned. Being in India, and I get this from a lot of people when I go out and do speaking gigs, and I'll talk to people in the audience or other professionals that have done speeches here and there. And the biggest challenge is, how do I get paid to speak? I can't seem to get paid to speak. Everybody wants me to come, to these places and talk about, whatever their thing is. But the first question is, how did you get paid to speak? I don't understand it. So since you're an Indian, and I think people will have a certain connotation, just like, okay, India is a huge country, and, it's not like the United States where there's conferences every day, all the time. At least I think that's what people think. How did you build a speaking career being based in New Delhi?
Sure. Now, there are two different aspects of that for sure. Number one is when you are starting out. Now, any person who is looking forward to start his speaking career should definitely go for free speaking sessions. Now, you don't have to position yourself as a free speaker. You have to position yourself as a person who is willing to waive his fees if they are giving you a good audience. So you are not a free speaker. You are a speaker who is waiving off his fees. That is a lot different than having a free speaker on board. So what I initially did was I looked upon all the places where the events and these opportunities were there. There were like colleges that were doing digital marketing seminars. There were some corporations that were doing it. So what I did, I approached all the event organizers and told them that, hey, I just checked up that you are doing digital marketing events on every single university that I know about, and you're doing it on a consistent basis every single month, and there's a lot of audience that comes to you. Now I am a digital marketing expert and I have really expertise on all of these things. I would really like to talk about XYZ. Now, this XYZ has a really great marketing angle. You cannot say, I want to talk about digital marketing strategies. No, it is not that thing. So, what I did was, if a person is doing for a university, I know their audience is students, and students are more interested about how to get a job, how to make a career, or how to make a career out of digital marketing. So, what I did was, I pitched them the idea, say, hey, I want to speak about how to use digital marketing to land your dream job. And moreover, I know this is our first mutual connection, so I'm more than happy to waive my fees off to get it started. Now, that unique marketing angle and giving them a sense that I'm waiving my fees off for them actually gave me a lot of yeses. So this is the first strategy that I use to actually start getting speaking gigs. Now, the second part of it is how to get paid for it. Now, figure out where are the events going on that have an entry fees. So they are actually charging people to get into it. So it might be $200, $500, or $1,000, whatever it is, but they are charging a fees to get people in. Now calculate the number of people that actually go to that event. So example, they are charging $200 per entry, and there are like 100 people going into the event. You know that the person who is organizing it has a $20,000 budget in his pocket that he's spending on different things. Now you pitch them up with a great marketing angle and tell them, like my fees is like $2,000, but I'm more than happy to waive off 50% of that because this is the first connection we are doing, and I would be more than happy to get it started. So I actually built my complete speaking career on based on these two things.
Oh, I
One, the
love it.
marketing angle I give them. Another one, the waive of my fees.
Yeah, no, I love that because it not only it removes the barrier of entry, and it automatically establishes value with the person that you're talking to. So you're an expert, you're approaching them. And guys, Harneet's worked with some of the largest brands in the world. And you can go out to his website and check it out. So I mean he's legit. And when they go out there and they see that and they're like, wait a minute, he's willing to come here and speak, and he's going to, either waive fees, when you're very early on, or waive half of his fee so that we can get an idea of whether or not this guy is going to wow our audience, and we're not taking the risk of paying full speaker fees and it doesn't eat into our profit. They would just have to just not want you to be there in order to say no. So that is an amazing way to get a yes as far as, speaking is concerned. That's awesome advice.
Thank you, Vernon. Yeah, it actually works all the time. So whenever next time you want to get charged like $5,000 for an event, tell them you charge $10,000 and you are giving them a 50% off. They would be more than happy to pay you your actual fees.
Right. It's just like retail,
Now,
guys.
yeah. So if any of the event organizers is listening to this show, please don't email me about that then, because you know my strategy now.
Right. No, that's awesome. So, what's funny is I was looking at the Millionaires and Money website, and they actually have a bunch of questions that they ask. And for you guys that are curious, I'm going to put the link to this in the show notes because the book is launching on November 19th. It's 15 millionaires with a $1 billion combined net worth. And, Harneet is right at the top of that list, which is impressive. And one of the questions is, how did you make your first million? So how did you make your first million?
Now, it was all about Vernon with the help of a real estate client that I got. Now, I always believe you should not charge based on your projects or based on your services you give. I always charge people based on the value I provide to them. So, for example, if you come to me and you tell me that you want to grow vernonross.com, let's assume that, and you tell to me that, okay, you want to generate an extra $500,000 a month, or whatever the number looks like to you. I would not charge $5,000 from you to give my strategy and my consulting. I would basically charge an upfront fees from you, and tell you to give me a percentage of the income that you are generating out of my strategies. So this is a pretty long term strategy that I'm talking about. Now, this real estate client came to me and they told me that they're looking after a new project. They want to sell all of these flats, and how they can do that. And they already knew the power of digital marketing, so they told me that they actually do want to do everything on online only. So I basically got a big upfront fees for them because they were having like 1,000 flats, and then I got a percentage of every sale that was generated through digital marketing. So this was the exact process that I used to make $1 million. Now, for every person that is into the service business, I strongly recommend you don't go on a retainer model, don't go on a value per project model. Always go on the value that you add in the other person's life, and they would be more than happy to pay you because you are only charging a small percentage of the total outcome that they are making up.
No, that's brilliant. And I've heard that strategy before. I believe Dane Maxwell talks about that in creating a software as a service to get the actual person or the company that you want to develop the software for, to get them to pay you up front, basically to develop the perfect software for them, and then charge them a percentage, based on profit, depending on how they're using the software, or a monthly fee to maintain it or something like that. But what you're saying is a totally different way of doing it. Basically, you're getting equity based off of the value that you create. And if you don't create the value, you don't get anything from it. So they're not really risking a lot by paying you, $2,000, $3,000 a month, plus whatever, startup fee that you have. And people have a hard time justifying startup fees. So, and freelancers in my audience, you guys will know that when you go to pitch a contract or you go to pitch any kind of job, the first thing you're going to say is, oh, well, my startup or my retainer is this plus, $1,000 a month or $2,500 a month. And you just kind of sit and wait for the, but if you're doing what you just recommended, which I think is brilliant, a small upfront fee or an upfront fee plus equity in what, in every sale. So, pay me a percentage of every sale plus this. That way it minimizes your risk, and that I'm actually producing the results that you've asked me to produce, and I'm doing it at a rate that's, making you happy because we're doing it. So yeah, that's a really, really good strategy to use. I love it.
Exactly. Now, I actually hate when I add another $100,000 to some other person's life, and they're like paying me $5,000 and saying me, okay, thank you for your
Right.
thank you for your services. I really enjoyed working with you. Now I'm like pissed off. I'm like, okay, wait, I added $100,000 to your life.
Yeah.
I'm not worth $5,000. So I think if you are a real deal, this really works for you. But if you are like fake it till you make it, don't implement this strategy. It will, it will actually ruin your business, and then you are gonna come back to me. Actually, Harneet ruined my life.
Right. Yeah, no, you can't, you got to be the real deal. You can't be afraid to actually know what your value is, or afraid to know that you can deliver. Because I think too often with consultants, and Harneet, I'm sure you'll agree that, a lot of consultants, a lot of marketing people, a lot of strategists will say, oh yeah, this will work, but hey, I'm not responsible for your outcome. I've told you the strategy, but I can't guarantee that you're going to make any money from it. So you have to be willing to put your money where your mouth is.
Exactly.
Oh, that is awesome, man. I love it. I love it. So when you talk to someone that's already established, a freelancer or a consultant that's doing business and stuff like that, what's the one piece of advice, not necessarily, a business strategy, but what's the one piece of advice that if you had to give just one, that you would give them to help them understand how to basically run their business and get to that next level?
Okay, so Varun, after working with a lot of big names out there, and after working with a lot of people that are making a consistent money out there, they all lack one thing, and that is authority. Now, whenever a person comes to me and they want to establish their business many folds, or they want to be long-term player into the market, I always tell them be an authority and be a brand into your market. Now, all you now let me tell you about that. If there are people lining up to wait to work with you, you can actually charge a lot premium prices from them. For example, if you establish yourself as a really authority and a really a person that that can actually help people in a lot of different sense, and you have a lot of big testimonials, and a lot of people are waiting to work with you, then you can actually get paid 2x, 3x, or even 10x than the actual price that you are charging right now, and that can help you scale up really quick. So if you talk about establishing yourself as a brand and an authority, I give them a couple of different advices on them. Number one is public relations. You should always use a PR firm or a PR expert to help you get featured on some of the best blogs, some of the best podcasts, get you on TV shows, magazine shows, and all of these things so that people actually know about your real deal. Now, another thing that you can do is strategic alliances, getting yourself along with some of the popular names in the market so that you meet them, you stay with them, you network with them, and you have a common grounds to talk with each other. Hey, I am working with Frank Kern. Hey, I know Tony Robbins. Hey, I know Brian Tracy. So you actually get yourself positioned as a brand, as an authority, and then people actually want to pay you a lot of money upfront.
Right. No, that's yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's a good piece of advice. I think a lot of consultants, a lot of people out there don't take the time to actually build themselves as an authority in their particular field. They're basically stuck in the weeds. They're in there trying to grind it out and hustle for every job, but not taking the full approach to creating a brand image. And you see more of it, but you don't see enough of it. And of course, podcasts and blogs is a really awesome way to do it.
Yeah, a lot of people, Vernon, don't actually understand the meaning of branding. Running an advertising is not making a brand. Running an advertising is trying to get a customer. It is not a customer you get is not equal to a brand. There is a lot more different scenarios that are running around to make a brand. So I think a lot of people are misunderstanding the term branding, and that is why they are doing it wrong. A person came to me a few weeks back, and he was saying like, I want to establish myself as a brand. So how do you think I can do that? I told him some different strategies that were very different from what he was thinking. So he told me, hey, can I run Facebook ads to build my brand quickly? So I was like, wait, you cannot run a Facebook ads to announce that you are an authority. It would be like
Right.
doing your praises. It would be like doing your praises from your mouth. So it would be like, hey Vernon, Harneet is a brand, so I am on your show. You should be honored that I am on your show. It would be like that. So it's not actually an authority. It would be like I don't know the exact word to say onto that, but it would be like really arrogant and really kind of into self-esteem a lot.
Right.
So I think people are misunderstanding the branding term, and that is costing them a lot of business.
No, it's valuable that you said that because I get that a lot from people, and they're like, "Hey, I'm an expert, and look at how I talked about I'm an expert." It's like, well, wait a minute, have you demonstrated this at all anywhere?
Exactly.
That is funny. That is
That's
funny.
funny, actually. And now you always know that you have to stay away from these kinds of people. So anyone that comes up, I am an expert. So I'm like, great man, enjoy your life. I'm not an expert. Let me try to become an expert. Then we can talk, actually.
Right,
So
right.
stay away from these people.
Yeah, always be leery of the person that starts with, "Yeah, I'm a guru. I'm a guru."
Exactly.
How funny. So, I wanted to ask real quick before we wrap it up. What's your routine like on a daily basis when you get up and start? And I think I've not really focused on this, or I actually ever asked this question of any guest except for one, and that was because this whole thing was focused on his morning. It was Hal Elrod talking about the miracle morning. But
Mhm.
what do you do? How does your morning start? Because I think it's important that when you're an entrepreneur and when you're starting your business and when you're trying to focus on building a business, and that may not necessarily be your main thing, the way that you start your day is vital to your success. And I'm pretty sure you have an interesting routine of starting your day.
Now, before I start about my morning routine, Vernon, I want to accept that I'm a workaholic. So I'm a person who is like working a lot, and is always like busy in his work, trying to accomplish these things and trying to set up everything going on and helping out my business to grow. Now, if you talk about my morning routine, it actually starts at like 5:30 or 6 at max in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like doing meditation, doing some morning rituals, and then going for a walk with a couple of good friends that I have. So we always talk about business, economy, ideas, and all of these things on our morning walk that we do. So I come home by like 8 o'clock, and by 8 to 9, I get ready, get my breakfast, and all of these things. By 9, I am usually in my office till like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So after that, I take an hour break to have my lunch and to get relaxed a little bit. After that, by 3, I am like busy with my client meetings till 7 o'clock in the night, in the evening, most probably. That is outside my office. So either we are in their office or I am in like Starbucks
Mm-hmm.
or sitting in some hotel and trying to see what exactly is going on. By 7, I get back to my office and I'm like till midnight, I am in my office. I return home like by 1 o'clock and try to sleep by 2:30 and then all across in the morning again. So I'm pretty much workaholic, but I'll try to control up in the next couple of years.
Well, you know what? Hearing that though, that's not too bad actually. That's so for everyone that likes to use a hustle hashtag, that's real hustle.
Exactly.
You know, starting at 5, ending at 1, getting a few hours of sleep, and then going back at it again. And I love it. That's how Gary Vaynerchuk does it. He's always out or coming in at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning from working, not from being out at the bar partying. But I love the fact that you said you start your day with, meditation, morning ritual, going for a walk with friends. Even though you're talking about business and money and stuff like that, you're still spending some time to honor yourself and not just immediately the first thing you do is, oh, well, I checked my email.
No, I never do that.
Right. And that's so important because I think so many of us with these digital devices that are so close to us, usually it's our alarm clock and everything else. The first thing people do is they get up and they check their mail and then they start. And I can't recall who said it, but email is someone else's agenda. So, don't start on anyone else's agenda before you start on your own, which I just think is extremely valuable. And I'm just glad that along with every other successful person that I've ever talked to, that you have very similar, if not almost the exact type of routine where it starts with meditation, honoring yourself first, then, getting a little bit of exercise, even if it's a walk, the gym, whatever it is, then, fueling yourself and then getting into your day. Now that's a powerful strategy. And I'm pretty sure that points to a lot of the reasons you're as successful as you are.
Exactly. I believe consistency is really important, and I try to be consistent with my work as much as I can. And I think that is the real difference between a dabbler and a person who actually achieves something.
Yeah, it is. Man, this has been an awesome interview. I really did enjoy talking to you and learned so much. This is interviews that you got to go back and listen to and take notes. I've got a couple pages of notes, and everything that we talked about is going to be in the show notes, along with some links and some highlights about some of the stuff that Harneet said. So definitely make sure you go back, listen to this episode, take some notes. If you guys want to connect with Harneet, you can connect with him on his website, harneetbhalla.com. That's going to be a link in the show notes. And you can also, you can find him like that on Twitter. Is there anywhere else, Harneet, that you would like for people to be able to connect with you?
My website is the best place to be on to connect with me. And the second best place is my Facebook personal profile. So it's like facebook.com/Harneet Bhalla. That's my profile. I would love to connect with each and every person in this earth.
Awesome. And I will definitely link up to that in the show notes, and we'll be talking soon, man.
That's great, Ross, and I really enjoyed having a conversation with you. I think this was a really great information sharing plus a funny session that we had. I really enjoyed talking to you, and I believe we would have a strong connection.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. We have similar personalities and sense of humor. So.
Exactly.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Pretty great. Thanks, one.
All right. Okay, so did he bring it or what? Can you believe that was a 3-minute strategy on building your online business? And that's starting from nothing. I asked him, hey, how would you build this if you had to start from nothing? And gave him an example, and Harneet took it and quite honestly, as far as I'm concerned, hit it right out of the park. That was at minute 17, about 47 seconds. So 17 to 47 seconds. There is a timestamp in the show notes out on the website. So definitely go out, check out the show notes. And there's a link right there, right at the end of the first paragraph, right before the more tag. Just go out, see it. You'll see it, click on it, and you'll jump right to that part of the podcast if you want to listen to that again. It was so valuable. I took a ton of notes, and I mean, he really brought it. Has such a good time talking to him. He's so knowledgeable, and just one of the times that, you just really connect with a guest. And we hit it off, and we're Facebook friends now by the time I'm recording this portion of it. And I have fun with it, and I hope you guys enjoy listening to it as much as I did recording it. I actually, I just absolutely love podcasting because you get a chance to connect with such knowledgeable people and wonderful people that are so giving of their knowledge and of themselves to help improve other people's situations. So take advantage of the knowledge that you've been able to get from this episode and apply it. And tell me how you're applying it. You can email me, vernon@vernonross.com. I want to know how you guys are using the stuff that you're learning on the podcast and if it is making a difference to your business. I want to know this stuff. And if it's not, let me know why it's not and what your challenges are. I'm here to help, and so are the guests. They want to help you. Don't not take advantage of that situation. Anyway, make sure you go ahead and tag me on Instagram. I'm liking the interaction that I'm getting on Instagram. I've changed up a little bit. I'm doing a lot more posts on Instagram now and getting a lot more back from you guys. So I was asked to do, some more inspirational stuff and get that stuff out there. So some of those messages are coming, and just posting more on Instagram. So you can go out, follow the link in the bio. That's going to take you out to the Social Strategy Academy, which is what the podcast is sponsored by. That is my online course platform, and I'm using that platform to get the word out about the different trainings and stuff that I offer that you guys can get a little bit more. So if you want to know more about LinkedIn, you want to know more about Periscope and actually how to use Periscope or social media in general, I'm going to be launching a new course on social media that's really a social media masterclass. And it's going to take you from beginning all the way through some of the more advanced stuff. And it's a great general overview of all of the current social media platforms and how you can be maximizing what you're doing on those platforms. So check that out, socialstrategyacademy.com. The link is in my bio, out on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram at RossPR, on Twitter at RossPR, and pretty much everywhere at RossPR, except for on Facebook. I'm Vern Ross. Look for me on Facebook too at that address. And of course on Snapchat. I know I said it's the devil, but it's actually pretty useful, and I'm having some fun on Snapchat with how the interaction is really that one-to-one at scale that everyone is looking for. So Gary Vaynerchuk was right when he told me that, hey, Snapchat is one-to-one at scale. You should use it. So I'm using it, and I'm actually getting some good results from it. And so with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and get out of here, and I will see you in the next episode.